Hi everyone, JR with Secure Metals. I have your technical update here for Friday, June 13th, 4:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Market is closed. This is your weekly chart on gold here. This is going to be a very quick video. Weekly chart on gold. Stochastics are starting to rise. Still fairly flat, but it looks like they're starting to turn around. We have a very nice bullish engulfing candle here. And it looks like we're going to finish off with that bullish engulfing candle. Today's the last day of the week, and this is a weekly chart here. Okay, so each candle represents a week. Found support in the zone and currently out of the zone here. So again, we would look to start testing these levels of resistance. Okay, this is the level where we need to get above. All right, this would be the level. I would probably say here. Okay, so between 13 on the weekly chart here, on the weekly chart between 1290 and 1315, I think once we can surpass that level here, we'll be in much better shape on the weekly chart, right? So the weekly chart looking nice and bullish. We got that nice and bullish engulfing candle. Your daily chart, okay, daily chart finally crossed over. I mentioned in the last video that I was looking for a move above. Before I call this an uptrend, we needed to take out a couple of zones. That's your first zone here that we've taken out. Now your second zone would be this area here. Okay, so before this daily chart turns bullish, I'd like to see two nice levels of resistance taken out. This is your first level. This would be your second level. Above this level, I'm gonna call it nice and bullish, and we're gonna take all. We're looking to test this high here. Okay, that's your daily chart, your 4-hour chart, and your stochastics are getting a little bit overbought, so we might find some resistance exactly in this zone here. Last chart here, 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart is in a uptrend. Okay. The way I measure these uptrends, or the way I would suggest if we're at an uptrend or not, is by levels of resistance. Okay, so these are the levels of resistance here, and we've taken them both out. If I take out two levels of resistance, then the trend has reversed. So this trend is out. We took out the two major levels of resistance, and now this is a level of, now this is an uptrend, at least on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so again, we're looking to test this 1285 zone to 1300 zone on the 4-hour chart. Because of this trend, on the short term, we look for opportunities to buy and go higher. Okay, so we have that nice bullish, we have that nice trend here on the 4-hour chart. I'd like to see this thing come down here to this, let's say, zone, 1264 zone. We got 20-day moving average. All the moving averages are below us, so that's going to give us some support, as well as these zones that I've also laid out. Okay, silver. Silver, same thing. On the 4-hour chart, is taking most of the zones that I wanted to take out. So on the 4-hour chart here, we're looking nice and good. You have your lows creating new highs. You have your highs creating newer highs. Now, in order for us to call this a bull market, we would need to surpass this $20 zone here, 1280 to $20. I'm sorry, 1980 to $20. So I think if we surpass the $20, what we'd like to see is, now that's the daily, that's the 4-hour chart. So the 4-hour chart is looking really nice, taking out the two zones, just like gold. On the daily chart, we've taken out one zone, and this is the second zone here. Okay, and this would be your second zone. Okay, so above this level here, the $20 level, okay, that zone, above that level, we've taken out two major zones. We are officially in a bull market here on the daily chart with a really nice uptrend. Stochastics are getting a little bit overbought. The volume seems really steady. That's a good indication. And we're looking to test this 100-day moving average, as well as this 200-day moving average for now. Okay, I would say this is what I'm looking at for silver. I think silver right now is an extremely important levels. This is your weekly chart here on silver. Silver again also showing a bullish engulfing candle here as well. So again, just like I've pointed out a number of times, every time we hit the $19 level, we bounce off right away. I really sincerely believe that if we come back and retest the 1850 level, we're probably going to come back down to 1820. From here, now this is, I think I pointed this out on the last video, this is the level to go above. That's the level right there, okay? We go above this level, and currently we are testing that level. We have not been above this line ever, okay? So we have not been above. I think we got a little bit tricked out here, all right, where you saw this thing go up a little bit. So as you can see here, let's zoom in, right? So in this area here, we see that we actually went above this line and created another high right here. So this is where the line is now. So it came up above and then it came down. We can see the same thing. This is slightly above, but it can still come down. What I'd like to see, okay, is a nice move to the upside. So I'd like to see this thing go up above 20. And once we're above 20, this is what I want to see. I want to see this metal do something like this. I want to see this thing test the $20 level, come back down and test the strength of this resistance now turned support, and we'd like to see a bounce to the upside. We can also see a scenario where this goes up, this comes down, retests this level of $19.16, possibly this level of $19. What I will say is this: if we go down to $19 and it doesn't hold, actually around $18.90. If we retest this level at $18.90, and we break that level, then I think there's a good chance that this is a false breakout, and the move to the downside is going to be fairly fast, and we're going to most likely retest the 1820 zone. So this is what we want to see. We want to see this go up, test the $20 zone, come back down, stay around here. I'd like for this thing to stay above 1920, go right back up. Then we test that line, and we know that this is a real breakout. And then what we'd expect is we'd expect a move similar to this, right? Or similar to this, where again, anytime you break a really strong level of support or resistance, kind of like this, right? Since the high of April of 2011 to the high of February of 2012, we saw a little bit of break above, and then we just came down. But as you can see here, when we finally broke above it, look at the triangle here. When we finally broke above it, look what happened. You had a huge move to the upside. That is exactly what I'm expecting if we're able to do something like this, come back down and go up. It's very similar to this, where we went up, came back down, tested the line, and then it was a wrap. So that's what we want to see, and that's what I will expect. If we can exceed, if we can go above this line here, I am officially calling this a bull market, and I think the bull market will have begun, and I think it's time to ride. But that's your weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, this is the main level of resistance that we want to cross, about 20.30, and then the second one is 21. I think once we can surpass this $22 zone on the weekly chart, we are again 100% bullish, and at that point is just riding the wave. But again, that's your gold and silver chart. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that this is an extremely, next chart I'll show is the palladium chart. The reason why I'm showing this chart is because I gave a recommendation last week, or last video, to sell palladium, and I called I basically said that you had a really good opportunity here to short the market. Let's see here, time is what I'm looking for. Weekly, I mentioned that we had some resistance up here. Okay, and I said to put a stop loss at around 870. You also had some resistance over here as well. Okay, I think when I made the video, it was trading at around 840. I said that the risk to reward was great. Again, 840, 845, I think that's where it was. It ended up going to a high of 863, and then it really did exactly what I wanted it to do. My first target was initially 805 to 810, which it has hit the target. There's a lot of strong fundamentals right now on palladium and platinum There's a lot of strikes going on in Africa, and I personally would get out of this trade and take some profits, or just put it at a break even, and if it keeps going down, great, and if it goes back up, you gain nothing and you lose nothing. But definitely, I just want to revisit. But my first target was going to be 800. The second target was going to be around this area, the 770, 780 zone. So great risk to reward. If you got in at 840, 845, you bet 20 and you made about 30 or 40. That's a good risk to reward. But again, because the fundamentals are so strong, I would probably get out of that trade. Last thing I'm going to do here is the ratios. Gold and silver ratio. And we can also see here that the ratios did find resistance here. Last time I visited, we were here at the $67, $68 zone, 68 ratio zone. Currently at the 64. So this is where you would find some support here at around 64.5, possibly go higher. If we're breaking down through that level, then we would look to test this level here on the 61 area. The fact that the levels are going down, the fact that the ratios are going down, does support the idea that gold and silver are starting to turn around and are starting a bull trend. Okay, so the ratios just I guess verify that, or at least increases our odds of being on the bull side. All right, that's about it. Quick video. Hope you'd enjoy it. Make sure you check out the previous video that I made earlier this afternoon. Great video, and thanks for joining me. Bye bye.